G'day guys, and welcome to the YouTube channel series titled #42forCF. Basically what this is about, well, CF stands for cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis is a genetic illness that I was born with. It predominantly affects the lungs and the digestive system, but while CF is a broad spectrum illness, it has a number of genetic mutations within it that affect patients with different severity. So I have what is called 2 of the delta F508 genes, which is the, I guess, the worst genetic mutation of cystic fibrosis if you look at it clinically. Typically what that means for me is not only do I have the lung and digestive problems, I also have liver disease and have done since the age of 9. I was diabetic for 6 years and insulin dependent during that. Now I just control it on my diet. And I have a few other things like esophageal varices procedures that need to be taken care of every year to 18 months. But look, all that aside, I come from a really blessed position with CF because I am quite healthy and well. I take 50 tablets a day at the moment and do a number of lung nebulizers that help with my lung capacity and how clear my lungs are. I guess to explain CF very quickly for you and not scientifically at all, but CF is a missing gene that transports salt and water to the cell. That salt and water helps regulate mucus and allow it to move freely throughout your body, as opposed to it, in CF patients who are missing that gene being quite thick and sticky amongst all of your organs, which means scarring, greater risk of lung infections and contracting bugs in the lungs, etc. So I guess you could do a little bit more research if you're really interested, but that's the crux of it. And for a lot of people with CF, unfortunately, it means short life expectancy, like I said before, and lower quality of life. But one thing for sure, aside from my medication, my treatments and my doctors, that has massively impacted me and allowed me to have a really healthy, prosperous life with cystic fibrosis is 2 things. The first thing, physical activity. From the moment I could basically walk, I loved doing anything physical. Like, I was a real footy buff, runner, sprinter, I should say, back in the day. Loved beach athletics. Anything to do with pushing myself or trying to get better at a physical activity or sport, I loved it. And my parents and my sister were so supportive that they made sure I could achieve and continue to aspire to achieve anything I wanted to in the sporting field. So I literally spent my life competing as a young kid, and I loved it. And the second thing is I've just always been surrounded by amazing, supportive people, which I'm really blessed to be able to say, which just meant that I had a positive mindset and positive outlook on everything in life. And I often seen CF as not a curse but a blessing for me. It meant that I had a real understanding of the importance of real things in life, family, friends, how precious time is and how we have to use it doing things that make us happy and give us passion and love within our life. And so basically, whilst I've had that amazing outlook my whole life, don't get me wrong, I've had my ups and downs. It was just 3 weeks ago I was in the emergency department in Wollongong hospital after suffering 3 sort of episodes of bleeding in my lungs over the course of 2 days. And whilst that's a little bit scary and it's not something you want to see or something you want to experience, I knew that I would come out of this better, and I just had to recover and let myself ease off and spend a week in bed, recovering and allowing my lungs to heal. But, I was a little bit bummed. I'd probably been in the best physical shape I had been in a long time because I've been training a lot and keeping fit and healthy. But a viral infection in my lungs had caused some inflammation around my scarring, and maybe all the activity I was doing at the time had aggravated it a little bit. But I sat there in the hospital bed and I thought, you know what, like, my mindset just means that I come straight out of this and I go back to doing what makes me feel amazing and healthy and gets me back on top of my CF. But I thought, unfortunately, not every patient with CF would have that same mindset. Quite often this sort of experience would be something that gets you down and you spend less time being active, less time trying to be healthy because maybe it all seems a little bit too hard and like the odds are always against you. And I sat there and I was reflecting on a conversation I'd had with a friend a week or 2 earlier where his mate had just had a child with CF and they were nervous and obviously emotional about having their first child with cystic fibrosis and what that meant for their child's future and their health, and whether that was going to limit or stop them from doing anything in their life. And one thing that I've learned is that with that positive outlook and that mindset, I've had the ability to change people's minds on what limitations CF actually puts on you. And I think I live a really amazing life where CF hasn't held me back because of that. And I thought, I have a real opportunity here to inspire and to change people's lives with cystic fibrosis and the parents of those patients too. And I reflected back on 22 years ago. My dad and my mum organised a charity event for CF, and my dad actually ran 68 kilometres 3 days in a row, so a total of 212 Ks, alongside my uncle and a few other marathon runners for CF. And I thought, how amazing would it be to do something that's a physical feat like that? Definitely not that far, but a physical feat where I get to show the world that a CF patient with a worse genetic mutation of the illness crosses the line of this event and literally inspires kids, parents, adults with CF that anything is possible if you set your mind to it and you work hard for it, and that CF is something that we have, but it doesn't define us. And so there come the idea. It was then a week where I sort of stewed on it and thought about how I could make this happen, what I would do to make that statement and to inspire others. And a few mates of mine sat down with me and had a similar idea amongst their conversations too, where they wanted to spread the word for CF and they wanted to show the world that here's our mate who has CF, but he doesn't let anything stop him. And so we come up with an idea. If I was to run 42.2 kilometres, which is the length of a marathon, around our hometown of Wollongong, and show the world that a guy who has never run more than 5 or 6 kilometres before, until I announced this event, could train up to December the 12th when we'll run this official event and finish a marathon with cystic fibrosis, that if I can do it, anyone else with CF can do it too. So there, the event, the idea was created, and amongst announcing it on social on Monday, the 20th of July, which we are now at the time of filming a week on from that date, we've had a huge social buzz. Everyone is keen to support this and get behind that whole event, and also me. CF Australia has come on board officially to endorse this event, and we're now talking about some really exciting things to make this potentially the first official marathon ever run in the Wollongong area in honour of cystic fibrosis. This here is the first episode of what will be many on this YouTube channel, documenting everything that happens with organising the event to training and getting prepared for it. Like I said, the longest I'd ever run before announcing this was 5 or 6 kilometres. I ran 7.5 for the first time the other night and felt great. There will be ups and downs with my health, and that's one of the big challenges here, is keeping healthy throughout all of the training and the preparation. I know a little bit about exercise, but I decided to seek some professional advice through an absolute legend, that is Ben Seymour of BFit Training in Double Bay. Benny's an absolute gun. He's run huge endurance events. He's a weapon in the gym when it comes to strength work, and he's an ex-pro rugby player, so he knows all things health and fitness. And Benny has very generously donated his time for no money to help me get through this event and prepare for it. Every rep, set and rest period that I have to do in the next 5 months is going to be organised by him. So I'm really excited to take you guys on this journey. Hashtag 42 for CF, splash it over socials. If you're not even training for this event, but if you're getting out, getting active, and just utilising those healthy lungs that you've been blessed to have, or if you're a CF patient who is getting out and trying to improve their health, share that hashtag, because that's what it's all about. It's just all about getting better and inspiring others. I look forward to seeing you all throughout the course of this journey. Like I said, this is going to be a vlog series where we document it all. So I appreciate you watching this intro, and I'll see you very soon.